the Weapons Collective Edge.
Welcome to the Weapons Collective Edge. It is winter again. I thought I'd bring everybody out here and see the winter wonderland that we got today. It snowed pretty hard. This is just one day's snow. I'll take you over to the tire, show you about how much we got. So if we look at the tire here, well, I'd say 4 to 6 inches. So we got all that in one day. So yesterday we had green grass on the ground. So that's the fun. But I wanted to show everybody that. I'll put that in the beginning of a video, and we'll see you in a little bit. Today we're going to go over types of tangs. So in knives and in swords, there's a protrusion of metal that goes into the knife or the blade of the sword that you can see here. I've got full tang, push or partial tang, a hidden tang, rat tail tang, which is the most unfavorable, skeleton tang, and 3/4 tang, also a nakago, which is a Japanese sword version, also known as encapsulated. So full tang, when it goes all the way through, would be similar to the knife that I made, where it goes all the way to the end. This one's actually extended tang, so tang actually comes on the outside of the handle. And it goes all the way through, and even through here, it's going full tang through. Now this one is also full tang. As you can see, the metal goes all the way through on both sides. But in this case, I made this one and I put a threaded piece on the end to hold the guard on there. And I got one more here. This one appears to be full tang, but if you look at the end, it's only partially cut through. So technically it's full tang all the way through, but the handle, this portion down here on the bottom, doesn't have a blade all the way through. So I would call this a partial tang, although it has the strength of a full tang all the way down. Now these two knives, these are both, like we said on this one, a push or a partial tang, which in this case we see the same motion of coming through this on this bayonet. It's got a thin tang, comes in about 2 inches, and in this case is riveted here and also could be riveted right there. So that would be a partial tang. This one here, I can't see, I'm not going to take it apart, but it's got a roll pin in here, which my guess is there is a blade about this long, because this thins down. And inside here in this hole, I do not see any metal. There's no metal on the outside. I think this is a push tang. It's been shoved in this far and thrown a roll pin in there. So that would be two examples of a partial or a push tang in that case. Now in the case of this sword that I made, this would be a hidden tang. So the blade hides inside the handle, and then crossguard goes through here and the pommel threads on. So this would not be a rat tang. A rat tang we'll show in a minute. And that's just a stick of metal through here. When you do get one of these partial tangs, you want to try, like I made in here, full radiuses inside these corners. The radiuses are up here also, but this width of this is almost the same width as the blade. So that will make this much stronger throughout the handle, almost making it as strong as a full tang. Now these three knives I'm going to classify as rat tail tangs. This one here, I don't have it taken apart, stacked leather, and it's been peened on the very end down here. but that will have a rat tail all the way through. This one here is also a rat tail. You can see the cross right there, how it gets thin. So right in here, from here to here, it is about a quarter, maybe a half inch, and that goes straight down and is threaded. So when I put this together, it was definitely a rat tail. And then I'm going to take this one apart and show you that one. So in the case of this 9-ring broadsword, as we can see here, if I take this apart, you can see this is fully a rat tang. It is a thin blade. They did put radiuses in here in the corner, which was nice. Really, really thin through here, and then a little threaded piece on the end, so you can put a nut or a pommel on. This blade right here would be something that would be decorative, and that's what I displayed it as. And if you tried to swing this as a full-scale sword and hit something with it, it's going to break right here. This is an awful design as far as a functional sword. You don't want to see anything like this on anything you own, technically. So my recommendation is, if you can take a sword apart or ask a qualified person that knows what the sword's going to look like, don't buy one with a rat tang. Unless you're just going to hang it up, then it's fine. Now, I did a video on survival knives not too long ago, and I loved them when I was a kid, and I still think they're cool looking, but this is worse than a rat tail tang. If you can see down in there, try to get a little closer, it has a nut down inside this hollow handle. And I'll show you this one too. This one's just a plastic handle, which is even worse. And it has a nut bonded inside this plastic. So that means your tang is only this long, right through there. And that's a terrible way to mount this all the way with this big blade for this tiny little bit, making all this as a lever right on that point to easily break. So again, I love survival knives. They're really cool. It's cool you can put stuff inside there, but as far as survival in real life, that would probably end up busting on you if you were hacking and cutting stuff. So again, wouldn't recommend these types unless you loved them like I did when I was a kid, and also that, you know, you're gonna display them and not so much use them out in the field. The next style we've got is a skeleton or a skeletonized blade, and it's still all full tang, but in this case there's holes throughout here to either lighten it up or decorate it and make it look, you know, cool, I guess. But in this case it does lighten it up. It is weaker right here and right here, so I would either make this hole smaller or leave it out altogether. Once you get these holes back here, your integrity is not nearly as bad, because pressure when you're digging and trying to cut something is right through here. This is in your hand. This is getting stress. So anytime you see holes right up near the cross guard, it's a bad situation. You see some of these other ones with holes in here for decoration, bigger holes here. It just isn't worth it. You're weakening your knife every single time. Another style that you see, in this case is just a little steak knife, is a molded or cast knife. So you can't see how far the blade goes or anything on this. I have no idea. My guesstimation is somewhere in here. There's no pins or rivets. It's just put into a mold, squished on to whatever metal is there, and that's permanently bonded. Some of them will do that with cast and do the same process. This is more or less, like you say, this one's a steak knife, kitchen knife. You get what you get. So if you're buying a quality knife, you don't want to see this. But quick, easy, $3-4 knives, no big deal. So in this case, we've got a samurai sword. This one is a wakizashi. So you can see. And come in here, knock this peg out. Pull our handle off. This would be what would be considered a 3/4 tang. So if we look at that, so that's a 3/4 tang. And you can see here it's got 2 holes in it. It's only using the one. So the one is using, so we can peg in this hole right here. And that holds it on. And as you can see, 3/4 of the blade is inside. This section right here doesn't have any blade, but all your strength is still within this blade of being nearly full tang and making this a strong way of putting a sword together. The nice feature of any of these kind of things where the tang is not full tang, when it's a situation like this, it's nearly full tang. The nice thing is you can't see the blade if that's what you're going for. And in a lot of cases, that's what it is. It's hiding it inside, but it's hiding it in this fashion like this, instead of this fashion here. Again, we talked about this rat tail tang is a terrible idea. Some of these have a tapered tang that comes through here. Those are decent, but again, you don't get that full strength of what would be a full tang or a 3/4 tang. So either way, full tang or this 3/4 tang would be my recommendation on swords or knives, so that you add that strength. Again, I wanted to show you these, show you what different tangs are, and show you what the advantages are of having that full tang, having that strength in there. Even if that was mild steel, it is still going to be structurally stronger than that rat tang if it was fully hardened steel. So in my opinion, a full tang is always your best method. If you want to make it look so it's pretty, so you're not seeing the metal for whatever reason, I would go with that half tang or a 3/4, where you got that little bit of hiddenness to it, but you still got structural amount. That's what I would recommend. I wanted to show you those, and I will get on to a few other things similar to this and show you some more variations on things. But if you like this, please subscribe, and I will talk with you later. Bye.